Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast, where we share and connect as we spotlight our favorite shows and movies. I'm Diana, and today we have TV and movie recommendations for you. Hi, Margaret. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I would love to know what you're watching. Are you watching any new TV shows?
I watch a show and then I forget about it and then I come back to it. So I started watching The Cleaning Lady, which is I always see it on Hulu. It is on Fox, but I watched it on Hulu because then I can see a few at a time. And it's kind of an interesting story. I think I've talked about it before, maybe on the Walking Dead stuff, but it's about a Filipino woman and her family. Pretty much they come over to the United States because her son is in need of a transplant that they can't do in the Philippines. So she comes over here and works. She's a doctor in the Philippines, but she's not here because obviously not licensed. And so she works as a cleaning lady, like a contract kind of thing. So she'd go into parties and whatever and clean up after these big deals in Vegas. And she ends up at a party where a mobster takes out, the gambling mobster people take out some guy, and she sees the whole thing. And rather than kill her because she's a witness, she ends up endearing herself to the main mob guy, and he brings her in to the fold to clean up. And he realizes or finds out that she's actually a doctor because the warehouse that they're in, where all of this is taking place, blows up. Because they're trying to kill the guy. The family's trying to kill the guy because they want to take his place. And she saves his life. So that's why he's like, okay, I'm going to do for you. So it just keeps going. And it's pretty good, actually. The actors are really good. And, I just thought it was really kind of cool. The new show that I found is called The Offer. And it's on Amazon Prime. And I actually got access to it because I get a subscription to a magazine and they're pushing it for, Emmys. So I get some invites to see some of this stuff that I normally can't watch because I don't subscribe to some of these channels, streaming channels. And the favorite line is every party needs a pooper. And I just thought that was so funny, but it's really kind of cool because it actually goes back to how they made The Godfather. And it talks about the producer guy who produced Hogan's Heroes originally, which, it shows them he and his buddy brainstorming the concept and then pitching the concept. So it shows you the behind the scenes in Hollywood, and you're on the Paramount lot and you're in all the buildings and you're in the room. And it's just really kind of a cool behind the scenes take on it in the 70s, the early 70s. So the clothing, the hairstyles, the makeup, just the way that they do everything, the restaurants that they go to, all the wheeling and dealing and all the movie stars. And it kind of drops you right into that time period. But I thought it was really, really good. It's very, very well acted. Miles Teller is the main guy. And his secretary.
I love him.
I know. He's good. He's kind of one of those, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't really realize that it's him, that it's the same guy. So he's very versatile, really kind of under the radar, I think, because I thought he had something to do, as far as with producing this, or at least getting it off the ground and going. But it just was really kind of cool. So it's full of a whole bunch of people. His assistant is Juno Temple. So he was a computer engineer or some kind of an engineer and kind of fell into the show business because of the Hogan's Heroes thing. And then he decides to shift careers. And it's a true story. I mean, it's based on facts. And he finds the director. He pitches the story for The Godfather. And so they're getting heat from the mob. You can't do this. It's just really kind of cool. So if you want a historical lesson in Hollywood and the mob, watch that show. I only saw one episode because that's all I had access to. But it's on Paramount Plus, I think. What did I say it was on? Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus. So those are my two. But check that out because it just is it's a throwback and it's really well done. It's so good.
I keep seeing the picture of it when I go on my Roku. And I kept wondering because I just really like Miles Teller a lot.
Yeah.
And so I wondered how this movie or how the show was. So
it's good.
It makes me want to maybe check it out now that you've seen one episode and you didn't fall asleep and you didn't say, no, I don't want to watch it. So
I know I do that. Well, some of yours, I'll have comments like that. Sure.
I'm really excited actually because I have been watching, I think, some really good things and I'm really excited about. So, TV shows, Umbrella Academy, season 3, Netflix. Yay! I binged 10 episodes in one day. I was sick and otherwise I would have never sat down that long to watch something. But I did, and it was so much fun. It was entertaining. It made me feel it was good. I was glad I could just get through it, although that's a lot of episodes to watch in one sitting. So, and Klaus is my favorite. I just love him. He's just my favorite character. For anyone who hasn't seen any of this, it's an action fiction series where all these women were pregnant in this one day, all of a sudden became pregnant and had their baby within like a few minutes. And on that day, 7 of those babies were taken in by Sir Reginald Hargreaves, and he creates the Umbrella Academy and prepares these children to save the world. And they all have different abilities and different personalities, so they're estranged, but they have to come together to help each other and save the world. So I really like it. And in this season, they are dealing with a change that they made in season 2 and how that has a ripple effect. And so they come into this season 3 and their home is different. The family's different. Like they don't belong there. Like they never existed. And so it was a fun episode, but I have to say for me in the very first episode, and this is just on the first episode, so it's just a little tiny bit of a spoiler, but it was just too much fun not to mention. They're about to fight. Our group and the new group are about to fight. Okay. Well, it appears they're about to fight. Mm-hmm. And right as they're about to fight, the other side begins to do dance moves. And they start a dance off with Footloose. I was dying with joy and laughter because I love Footloose. I love the music. And so they were in this dance off and I was just loving every single minute of it. And I was already loving the show, but I was so hooked. And so I just kept on and watched the rest of it. So it's for people that haven't watched it, it's funny. It's not entirely funny, but what I'm saying, there's a lot of comedy within this show. So it's not super serious, even though they have some serious things happen in it too. I also am watching The Old Man on FX and Hulu. It's a thriller with Jeff Bridges.
Love him.
Yeah, you know what? I was watching this, the very first episode, and the first 20 minutes, I'm like, I don't know. Nothing was really catching me. But then all of a sudden, Jeff Bridges was faced with this assassin who is out to get him. Back up for a minute. Jeff Bridges was in the CIA and then I don't know if he left willingly or not, but he parted with them and he's been in hiding for decades. And so all of a sudden now this assassin comes to get him and you see Jeff Bridges fight. And that was it for me. I'm like, I'm in, because to see him overpower this guy, which felt really real to me. It didn't feel like it was, some stuntman. Sure, it probably could have been, but it didn't look that way. So it felt real. And I love seeing Jeff Bridges like that. He just has me as I watch him. Amy Brennan is here too. And they have really good chemistry together. Really good. I don't want to go too far into what the second and third episode, but I'm in it. I can't wait to watch it. I'm loving it.
I watched it and I really liked it. I was looking forward to it. It's the thing that he started shooting, I think, as he was diagnosed, with lymphoma. Lymphoma. So he was shooting some of that when that was going on. Because if you go to his website, I sent you the link, the Jeff Bridges website, which it's very artistic and very creative and really cool. But he shows a clip of that, and it's the one where he's in the kitchen with the guy, in the first episode. So it's so it's kind of cool to know that he was actually doing that while he was recovering from his cancer diagnosis. So I know I love him anyway.
Yeah, I do too.
I could watch him all day.
And it gives me chills right now thinking about it, because he's in his 70s, and physically he looked really good without a shirt on. Yes, I'm sure, he's aging, but what I'm saying is
better than we age.
Well, what's funny and I find so interesting is in that first episode, they show him getting out of bed, like struggling, like, he's older, and he's like, he's got some pains. But then when he has to kick ass, he kicks ass.
Yeah.
So it's like all that goes away, and everything that he's learned, it's basically like muscle memory that he kicks it in gear and can fight these people. So yeah, it was pretty good.
I know, honestly, just one little aside, the guy that they show as him younger, the flashbacks to him in Afghanistan.
I didn't realize that at first.
Yeah. I don't really like that guy. I don't think he's not as cool.
No, he's not.
He's not smooth at all in his delivery or anything. So they didn't do a good job picking out that guy. But
I thought the guy was an okay actor. I didn't realize it was supposed to be him until later on. I must have missed something. And then I saw that. I'm like, wait, that's him? And I was looking at him and I thought, those don't look like Jeff Bridges' eyes. Couldn't they have gotten a grandson or
a child? Yeah,
something.
Right? That has that swagger. I know.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to mention these things. I finished Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus, and Ewan McGregor, I mentioned this before in one of our previous episodes, but I just wanted to say it again. He made this series for me. I was totally sucked in because of him. So I really enjoyed it. I really paid attention because I was, listening to everything that he did. It was just a good show. So I would recommend people that love Star Wars and people that maybe not be the biggest fans, just go watch it. It's really good. I finished Mayans MC, which is on FX and Hulu, and I've been cheering that show as episodes have gone by. But I just wanted to mention it again because it ended with shocking things happening, like interesting, shocking things. So it's the club is taking on new leadership, a new direction. You're getting kind of scared for the people that are on the show. So it's very interesting. So it's going to segue into the next season very well. I can't wait for that to happen. I also started watching, although I'm on episode 5 now, Under the Banner, which is on Hulu. Thank you, Margaret, for recommending that one. It's a true crime drama. It's Andrew Garfield. He plays Detective Jeb Pyrie. Who investigates the brutal murders of Brenda Lafferty and her baby daughter in a Mormon community in Utah. And it delves into the interpretation of faith and radicalism and shocking discoveries. So it's been a fascinating watch. I really wanted to watch more last night, but I had to go to bed. So I think I have 1.5 episodes left. So I'm excited. To see what happens.
Yeah. You know what? I spoil it for me because then I go Wikipedia or I Google it if it's a real story. I want to find out what actually happens because I'm going to find out anyway, but I want to really see. And so I did that just to understand it better.
Yeah. All right. What about movies, Margaret? Have you seen any new movies that you want to share?
Well, I tripped down memory lane. I decided I'm flipping through. There's Jerry Maguire. So I caught it like midway through. And I just, it was such a good movie. It still is a good movie. I don't even know how old that movie is. I could just watch that movie probably once a week and it would put a smile on my face and a tear on my cheek because it just is it's so heartfelt and the acting is so good and the storyline, it covers every aspect of your life, right? In like 2 hours and 5 minutes, however long. It's a longer than 2 hour movie. But I really liked it. I'm not really a Tom Cruise fan, but I thought he did a nice job. And, you're introduced to Cuba Gooding Jr. That's the first time I've seen him, and I really enjoyed his character too, and how that he metamorphosed throughout the whole thing. And then, just everybody. I mean, Renee Zellweger, I thought she was really nice in that too. So
I love movies like that. When you go back and you see something that you really enjoy, you're like, man, I remember this is such a good movie.
I know. And you think you won't enjoy it, but you still do. It's amazing because you know the whole story, inside and out. I usually don't like to watch movies over and over and over again. And then what I've been doing is passing these movies that I've, flipping through the streaming channels that have nothing on them, even though there's bazillions of things to watch. But it's like you've seen everything. And then when you actually sit down and settle into something, you're like, that you've seen before, you think, wow, I guess this was really pretty good. I should have watched it again,
Yeah.
And again and again and again. But I did see a few others, but you're going to talk about those. So what did you see?
Well, please chime in on those.
Oh, I will.
So, well, the first movie I saw, I really love this movie. It's called Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. It's on Hulu. I loved this movie. It's a sex comedy with Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormick.
Oh, old lady, young guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It didn't really appeal to me.
But, did you watch it?
No,
Oh.
No, because the previews didn't appeal to me.
Okay. Well, something drew me to want to watch it. I did. I was so happy I did.
Oh, good.
So Daryl plays a charming, charismatic sex worker that Emma,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
that Emma Thompson's character hires because her husband recently died, maybe it might be a couple years, but she's only had sex with this man that she was married to, and it was very non-eventful, and she's never had an orgasm before.
Oh.
So, and she's very rigid and
uptight.
Follow the rules.
Well,
all of that.
She's English.
And so she just decides this is something she wants to do for herself. So she hires him.
Huh.
And what's so interesting that I didn't even realize until after the movie was over and I read it, but it's a two-hander film. And I personally had not heard of that term before. I didn't know what that meant, but that meant there was only two people in the film. And it's just based on those two in one location, which I've seen that before. But this didn't feel like that for me because it breaks it up into 4 meetings that they have. I believe it's 4 meetings. So each meeting is a different encounter between the two of them. It just was a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise to me. I was so impressed by Emma Thompson's performance. She was so vulnerable. She was so brave. She just lays it all out there. You almost have to watch this, Margaret, just to see her performance. I kept imagining, could I do this? Would I do this? Meaning as an actor, could I portray this on film? And so I was oh my God. Yeah, I didn't even notice. They don't actually show them, having the sex. It just
then how would you not want to? Okay, but then why would it be so hard to do as an actress?
Well, because she shows a lot of her body. And not anything too graphic, but just showing that at this age to people, it's just, I just think that's a brave thing to do. I really do. And so that's why I'm saying that. It's nothing graphic that you can't see. It's like, oh my God, can't watch this. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's just being a certain age in Hollywood.
Oh, I know.
And putting yourself out there.
But is the guy English? Is it an English-made film?
He does have an accent. Is he English, though?
That's why she's got a lot of power, number one, over there. But Europeans have a whole different perspective on age and everything. Hollywood,
well, good. They should.
Is garbage as far as the actresses go, because we don't get any roles after like 40.
Yeah.
If we're even lucky enough, if we've got some established career and we're the producer and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But over there, it's a whole different ballgame. I mean, it's really crazy.
Mm-hmm. I hope you win, Margaret. I hope you win.
That's what he said. He said,
Margaret is holding up a scratcher right now. A lottery scratcher.
Scratch off. Isn't that
cool.
funny?
I love it.
I should do it. I should do it as we do this. I don't know how to do this, though.
Anyway, I want to tell you about this movie. I want to tell you that I love the story.
Still gushing.
I love the script.
Okay.
I love the direction.
Wow.
I keep thinking about the movie. I love seeing the growth. There's character growth in this. They learn from each other. I just love movies when you can see that. This was a happy movie. You know, the ending was pleasant and I cried. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Well,
but it made me happy. I was happy for the characters. And I just thought I was shocked by that too. I thought, oh my God.
Well, what was the time frame for the 4 meetings? Was it over a period of a year or
no? I don't
did
think
they show
so.
That? Oh, okay.
No, they didn't, but I don't think it was that
long a time frame. Like,
yeah, I don't
once
think
a week for a month. You couldn't really tell.
Maybe once a week, or I'm trying to remember if they gave me a time frame. I don't recall. Well, it's their conversations because even though it's considered a sex comedy, it's more about them talking through different things because she wants to get to know him through this, but he doesn't want her to get to know him. He just wants to serve her as she needs him. Yeah. And so it's all about that and their relationships. And they bring in her family, they bring in his family reluctantly because he doesn't want to share that. So that's why I said there's a lot of growth in this and you learn so much about them and you start to care about these characters a lot. Mm-hmm. And so it's just very interesting. So please go watch that. That's on Hulu. I also watched Spiderhead on Netflix. It's a sci-fi thriller with Miles Teller and Chris Hemsworth, who I love them both. But I will say that this movie was slow. And
slow.
I really wouldn't recommend this. It wasn't bad. It was just slow. And so if you're there just to watch those actors, then fine. If you're looking for something with some action or something, then this is not it. So I was not thrilled with that movie myself.
10 minutes, I'm out. I couldn't stand it.
Well,
it looked so funny from the preview. And then I got excited. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. There was no chemistry amongst any. It was like just so stilted. I couldn't take it. So I'm out.
Yeah. I could understand how that would happen. I also watched Cha-Cha Real Smooth on Apple TV Plus. This is a drama comedy with Cooper Raiff, who wrote, directed, produced, and stars in this movie. And so he plays Andrew, a 22-year-old college graduate who becomes a bar mitzvah party host. And he befriends Domino, who is played by Dakota Johnson. And she has a daughter who is autistic, and her name is Lola. So he befriends both of them. And it is a quirky indie film that is different but watchable. And so I wouldn't say it's not as good as the sex comedy here, but it's not as bad as Spiderhead. It's more interesting than Spiderhead. So I liked it. I think it's watchable, but not high impact either. But I thought it was actually kind of impressive because this guy, Cooper Raiff, I think he's like 25 and he did all of that. So the fact that he could do all of that and act in this film, it's like kudos to him. So I think he's someone to watch in the future because I think he did a really nice job. Now, the next movie, Margaret, I know you watched this and I made you not tell me anything of your thoughts because it is called The Man from Toronto, which is on Netflix. It's an action comedy with Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson. I laughed and laughed and laughed. The movie is just hysterical because it's basically mistaken identity because they think Kevin Hart's this cutthroat
man from Toronto.
Yeah, man
assassin.
from Toronto.
Assassin.
Basically an assassin who can get information from people. And he just had me roaring. He is so darn funny. And I've seen some of even the dramatic things he has done. And I like him. I like Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
he's good.
I do too.
So what'd you think?
So I'm watching it and it's really rough initially. The first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this better get better. Oh my God, this better get better. Then it gets better because they're showing both of the characters, the main characters, in their own element, what they're doing. And Kevin Hart is just a screw up. I mean, he can't succeed in anything. He has all these stupid ideas. He's got this wonderfully doting wife who supports the family because Kevin can't get his shit together. And then Woody is the man in black, and he's so serious, and he's this, that, and the other thing. And, he scares people into telling them the information. He whips out all his knives and, torture. But the funniest thing, when they switched roles because mistaken identity thing, the one scene that I was laughing so hard I could not breathe. I started to cry was when Kevin Hart started throwing up over the guy when he's trying to get him to talk, and he's bleeding because he sliced him with a knife by accident. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And he just wouldn't stop throwing up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny, but it's so sick, but it's so funny. So that's what I really got into the movie was after that hit me, because I've been playing along and laughing and that's okay, yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny, because he was so authentic, he was so natural, and the throwing up was just like I can identify with it. The whole body, the face, the whole thing. Yeah. So I thought that was the best scene in the whole movie.
It was. Well, I found a lot of scenes hilarious, but yes, that one was funny too.
The best for me.
Yeah. So they were great. They made a great duo. Who's to say maybe they'll do another one together? I don't know.
Well, I know, right? From cities.
Yes, exactly.
Although they all got killed, but did they? I mean, it was a lot of killing in that movie.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I'm glad that we ended with this comedy for our recommendations, because it's a fun way to end. So thank you, Margaret. Thank you for your recommendations. And thank you for remembering that particular portion, because I wouldn't have thought to bring that up. So
but I laughed so hard. I belly laughed. Oh my God. It just is so fun. Like halfway through the movie. It was just so funny.
I love it.
Really was. You got to go back and find it.
I know.
See what I saw, because it was like, oh my God, this guy is just throwing up all over this guy. He's like slicing him accidentally he's bleeding and he's throwing because he doesn't like blood, and the whole thing.
All right.
So funny.
Go watch it today on Netflix. Well, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We are grateful you tuned in, and we hope something we said today resonated with you, gave you a chuckle. Come on, we had to give you a chuckle. Some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Please go to screensinfocus.com. You can connect with me there and tell a friend. Come on, tell a friend. We would love more members of our TV club. Although we are on summer break, there will be periodic releases on TV and movie recommendations like this one, or you can go to our blog for more, and we'll be back in the late summer, early fall with The Walking Dead universe. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.